What's going on, you guys? Geoffrey Luna here with the Cartur Group. Today we're here with Chris Moreno, our lender. We're going to be talking about today the coronavirus and how it has impacted our industries. And then we're going to get into how we got into the business. Let's get into it. Chris, how you doing?
Good, man. Good, man. Thanks for having me.
Good. Okay, so obviously the virus going on is crazy.
Yeah.
Hasn't happened in my career nor yours.
Right. This is my first recession. So.
Yeah. So what's going on the lending side?
So a lot of people are asking us, hey, is this virus taking us down? Are you guys still lending? Kind of what it's doing is disrupting the supply chain, right? Disrupting the normal protocol, right? We didn't see something like this coming. We know we're coming through a cycle of, the 10 to 12 year stuff, but this virus really took a lot of people by surprise and blindsided us, right? So a lot of, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, they're coming out with a lot of revisions to normal guidelines, whether that's verifications of employment, appraisals. So it's really disrupted a lot of things, even our clients in working, and even back down to the interest rates. That's a big common topic right now with what the virus is doing to interest rates. Right. So it's causing a disruption there with people that are buying mortgages after we close mortgages. So it's doing a lot of disruption, man. We never anticipated this. Like I said, this is my first down market recession, so to say.
Yeah, because it was like from week to week, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it just changed.
I wasn't even paying attention to it at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
I saw things on social media and stuff like that. And come February, March, it started to become more serious. And then what really hit for me where it's like, oh, wow, this is really going to affect us was, and I don't even watch sports that much, so is when they shut down basketball. That's when everybody started talking about it and like, dude, we need to take this serious.
Yeah.
Right? And then one of my partners said, one of the basketball players got it. So now it was like, okay, so crazy, now movie stars or whatever are getting it, right?
Right.
So that's when it really started to be eye-opening to us,
yeah.
And we saw changes happening.
Right.
So
now, would you say like the buyers that you're working with, would you say that they pulled out because they want to see what's going to happen, or was it a fact of like they're losing their job? Or
I'd say both. Right now, the people that are falling out are the people that it really did impact. You have like we had a client that was thinking about pulling out, asked about the market, and said, hey, I'm still working, my hours are still good, I'm not affected by it. What do you think? Should I buy? So you have those clients, and if you can answer them confidently and with their best interest, we said, listen, this is real estate's a long-term play. Can you see yourself in this house for a long time, right? Do you like this interest rate? And if you see it more as a long-term play, then cool. Then they ended up closing. Right. Then you have a client just like today, bro, like we're in escrow. This is the second time we're in escrow. And I got a call that borrower number 2 is on unemployment, right? The weird thing is I would have thought they didn't want to buy, and they still want to buy. So they said, Chris, my daughter's on unemployment, I'll still buy. What can I do? Right? So you have, and then you have the third party, right? Which is, hey, I lost my job, I can't buy, can we get my deposit back?
And obviously that affects the loan, right? When you're on unemployment or child support, whatever they have.
Right.
They have no income coming in from a job.
Right.
That affects it completely.
Exactly.
Because the lenders look at it as risk.
Exactly.
Everything is risk.
Right.
Right. So, yeah, I can imagine. I had a few buyers that, were thinking of buying, but now they're saying that they don't want to buy because they think that the market's going to like go way down, which I don't think is going to go way down. I think we should see an adjustment. What do you foresee in the future after this? Do you think that the rates are going to still be competitive? Or
I think they'll still be competitive. Right now, rates are phenomenal. Here's what's interesting. So a loan amount at $510,000 and under, we call that conforming, okay? You can go above that in LA and Orange County. But 510 and under, the market's money. Rates are good, still really competitive. Anything above that is a risk, right? It's what we call high balance. So we're finding that the rates really aren't as aggressive.
Yeah.
So, buyers that still want to buy, they're serious. Like I got clients that are wanting to get pre-approved right now, and we're right in the eye of the storm here. So you've got your really serious people that are like, listen, as long as I got my job, I'm willing to search. So what I see with the market right now, rates are really good. I think they're going to stay relatively low. The unfortunate part is we see big spikes in rates, really just like abrupt, which is kind of hard to predict. So that's tough. If someone's in escrow, we're 2-3 weeks in and the rates happen to go up, we've got to just lock, right? Because we got to close. But I think they're going to stay relatively low. Once the virus is contained, so to say, I think that's where it'll stabilize out. Your investors who buy mortgage-backed securities in these mortgages, right, after we close them as a bank, it'll flatten out. Rates will be pretty low, I think. And then from there, the government will gradually increase it as people start to get back on their feet. And I think as that happens, I think home prices will slowly start to come down. Right, it's not going to be like a cliff like it was in 2008. Right, it was a cliff in my eyes, and I had gotten in just after that because there were so many bad loans, and all those bad loans turned into non-performing loans, and then people just let it go. Right now, people are letting their mortgage go or skipping payments, but they don't want to let their house go. Right, before they wanted to, they're like, dude, I have no equity here, nothing.
But what was the ultimate reason, though, too, is because they paid pretty much nothing to get the house.
Right, I was one of those.
Yeah,
I was one of those. So 2006, I bought a house. Zero down, decent credit, creative financing. So what did I do, bro? Everybody was doing it. This was before I was in the industry. People were like, dude, just let your house go. What did I lose? I didn't lose any money, right? I paid rent, so to say. I paid my mortgage. Right. And I didn't lose any of my down payment. All I did was sacrifice my credit, and then I can buy 3-4 years later with a different type of loan, right? Right. So at that time, those creative loan programs and creative banks that were doing those programs, those are the banks that you see close.
And they were the adjustable loans, right? The adjustable rate.
Adjustable.
Meaning that they adjust with the market, right? It's not like a locked rate, a fixed rate.
Yeah, you had adjustable, you had interest only. I was an interest only. I paid, I think, $3,500 or $4,000 a month. Wow. And I was not paying $1 of principal. But I bought a house. It was $575,000. I had 2 loans, 80-20. And it was fun, dude. Like, I was living there, and it was a good time. I was young, and buy my first house, but it wasn't a great investment because I didn't pay any dollar down.
And in that moment, did you ever think like, oh man, I'm gonna lose everything? Or?
Not really, because
I mean, not lose everything, but you really
lose your house. Did I ever think we would? No, because everybody was getting in these loans. Right. I was paying the payment, and then I fell subject to, hey, everyone else is doing it, so what did I do? I did it. Should I have done it? Probably not. I helped hurt the market, but the people that got me in those loans, I think the banks were allowing people to do those loans. Right. And not that it's their fault more so or my fault more so, but there's fault on both sides, and those type of loans aren't here. Yeah. But I think we're going to see values come down a little bit, but like we tell clients, it's a long-term play. If you're in this for the short term, now's probably not the time to buy. If you want to make money in the next 3 to 5 years, you're probably not going to make a lot of money. Right. But if this is a long-term play and it's for you and your family, 10, 15, 20 years down the road, to have some stability and have some equity, that's a good play.
But even then, if people are buying homes to make money, that's still tough. I mean, you're playing the market, right? Yeah. It's kind of a gamble. I told all my buyers, I said, as long as you're going to be here for a while, as long as you can afford your mortgage and you're at a fixed rate, right. I mean, that's all I should worry about, right? Yeah. Is that, can I make my payment? Do I like the area in the house? Right. I think people are too, what's going to happen next? You know what I'm saying? Right. Because even if it does fall apart, it's still, you're still locked into your mortgage. Right. You know what I'm saying? And that's what these investors, a lot of them told me before I got into the industry. They said, no matter what happens out there, people always need a place to live, and that's why I buy rental property, because rents still due. Right. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Regardless of whatever's going on. Right. Now I know there's ways where people can not pay for a little while, mm-hmm. but still that all comes back. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. So that's crazy. But you said you got into the business in 2009. So I got in 2009. A buddy of mine got me in the business. Before that, bro, people make fun of me for this because they don't believe how many jobs I've had. But I've been in construction. I was a truck driver. I worked at Stater Brothers. I made chicken behind the service deli, bro, behind that counter. I worked at Costco right here in La Habra. Okay. I detailed cars, like you name it. I worked at T-Mobile. You name it, I've done it. But when I got in 2009, I really loved the industry. And at that time, just like a lot of people, I was collecting unemployment, and I went full-fledged, full-time real estate, right? And I was doing loans and I was doing real estate, and I didn't know which one I wanted to go with. And at that time, you didn't need to be licensed for loans. And I got in, fell in love with the loan side, and then just went hard at it. And I collected unemployment for as long as I could. Tried the college thing throughout. Always knew I wanted to get back into loans because I got out for a little bit, went to Cal State Long Beach, flunked out of there. What was your major?
business.
Admin?
No, bro. I wanted to be cool. I wanted to do like international business.
International. Okay.
Yeah. So I wanted to be this businessman. I'm one of 4 children, and I'm the only one that didn't graduate. So I wanted to do international business, some type of accounting. I knew I always wanted to be and working with numbers and math. You know, in high school, actually before high school, junior high, people make fun of me for this too. I was in math academy, bro. People would be off for summer. I would go to summer school by choice and advance in math, right? So by the time I got to high school, I was like in pre-calculus or something. International business, tried that, and what really changed my mind about school, because I was paying my own way, got one school loan, was trying to get more, and I took an accounting class, and I didn't learn one thing, bro, but I passed. And the final exam or something was this project, and I literally like cheated my way through the exam, the final project. Yeah. And I procrastinated like a lot of us, you know, do in college or school. I passed, and I'm like, bro, I'm spending my money to not learn anything, and I thought this accounting class was going to be like, you know, this is it. Yeah. This is where I'm going to learn business and numbers. And I'm like, bro, this is for the birds. You know what I mean? And I was working full time at the time. I was falling asleep in class at times, and I'm just like, So I got put on academic probation.
Just going through the motions.
Yeah, got put on academic probation, and then never went back, man, and got back into loans and been going super hard.
And here you are.
Yeah.
And that was like, so that the timeline was 2009, messing around from 2009 until 2012?
Probably 13? Like 12 or 13. Then got back full-time into loans, right around there. Moved companies a little bit, but got back into a call center, which was a company that was just making my phone ring for refinances. Stayed there for 30 days, collected a small little salary, made a small little bonus per deal, and then I left to another company to try to work on purchases, working with realtors, working with buyers, not necessarily refis.
Wow.
So
just as you went full-time, I was graduating high school.
Okay.
I
graduated, what year?
2014.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, from Lucerna. Yeah, so I went to Lucerna and graduated from there. Never thought I would do real estate. And then, you know, my dad, he was been a broker since like 92 or 93. And then I mentioned it to him, like after I graduated, I told him I was thinking about getting my license. And then he was like, no, like don't do it. Like go to school. You know, go the school route, get your degree, get like a solid, you know, job, and then you can do real estate like on the side or, you know, as a part-time thing. But don't count on it as your full-time.
Why do you think he didn't want you to?
Well, because in 2008 with him, he was a broker for as long as I could. You know, when I was like a little kid, I'll be at the office with him. Yeah. And I hated it. I was like, when are we gonna go home? You know, and he actually. He lost a lot of money in 2008. Like he was working with investors, and pretty much how he did it was, you know, if the investor flipped the home, then he would sell it. And when the market crashed in 2008, like he went from making a lot to like nothing, like overnight. You know, so he you know, had to let a lot of things go, and you know, he's kind of scarred from that. You know, and he didn't. You know, I don't know. He lost a lot. And
was he full-time at that time?
He was full-time.
So full-time realtor, 2008 comes, he loses a lot. Did he lose houses?
Yeah.
So lost a few houses. Did he keep any of them?
He tried. The story is that he had, they flipped one house and made a lot of money. Actually, he said a realtor bought the house from Century 21 up in Pico. He bought the house from them because it was so nice. And then I think he went with one of those no money down loans. And then after that, they bought another house right away with the money.
With all the proceeds.
With all the proceeds to make more money. And then they flipped it, got it done. And then when it was time to sell it, they put it on the market. They got a pretty solid offer, but they didn't take it because they wanted to get more. And then that's when the market went down. So they always say, we should have taken that offer. Yeah. And we would never, you know, we still would have been here, like in real estate, you know. And he probably would have told me to get my license, you know, who knows? You know, I don't know.
So 2008, loses it. What did he do after that? Did he get into another job?
Yeah, he was applying to jobs and here and there. And then he got in at and he's never had like a 9 to 5. Okay. Like he's always been his own boss. And he got a job at United Airlines. Okay. So he's working at United Airlines as a manager, you know, with no manager experience. So he was very fortunate in that, you know, 2008, 2009 time to find, you know, that job. Yeah. You know.
So 2008 to you graduated in 2014.
Yeah.
Right? 2014, you come around, you're graduating. You mentioned to Dad,
Yeah.
I'm possibly thinking about real estate.
Right.
He's out of real estate at that time?
He did a deal here and there for
So
my
part-time?
family, friends,
So he's still at the airlines?
Yeah, he still kept his license.
You mentioned it to him, you graduate high school. He said, do the college thing.
Yeah.
And did you do the college thing?
I did. I went to Cypress College,
Cool.
and I played golf, for the golf team, and I was working at a lot of golf courses. I caddied. I used to work at Friendly Hills, the country club. I caddied at Bel Air and Wilshire and all that. And then I was playing college golf on the side. And then I was really doing that like every day. I would work at a course, I would work and then go play and then, have fun, whatever, and go to college.
Right.
I would actually play the course. I used to work at El Dorado in Long Beach. Me and a buddy of mine, we used to play the back nine at like 7 in the morning, get done at like 9, and then I had class at 10. So I would go play, then go to school, and then come back and work, and then play afterward.
Nice.
So that was like my schedule for like the whole week. And then the weekend, it was just all work.
Yeah.
And then go play.
Nice.
So I did that. And then after that, I realized I wasn't that good at golf. And, the season was over because you can only play 2 years at a community college in golf. Then you have to transfer and go to a 4-year or call it quits. So I called it quits and then worked at CarMax. I got a job at CarMax, and the guy, I used to check him in at the course. He was a manager at CarMax.
Okay.
And he told me, he's like, hey, you seem like you'd be good at sales, like work at CarMax. And I was like, I don't know about that, man. Like I never sold cars. And he was like, no, it's like you don't have to know anything. Like they'll train you and all this stuff. And I was like, yeah, whatever. So, and then he would play every Saturday, and the manager put me on Saturdays, so I would see him every Saturday. So
the guy that worked at CarMax.
The guy that worked at CarMax. So then he would come in every Saturday, and he would tell me, hey, man, like, are you gonna apply? Make sure you put my name. So I finally did. He convinced me, and he told me, he's like, it was like 5 in the morning. He was like, hey, you can make $100,000 working at CarMax. I was like, really? And then my assistant manager next to me, he was like, oh, that means 40, or that means 50, and everyone started laughing. So, but I applied, and then I put his name down, and then I got the job. I was like hired on the spot. It was crazy. I hired, and I worked there for like 2 years. So it gave me some good sales experience.
Did you make 100?
No.
Were you close?
No.
Did you not make the 100 because of what you think what could have been your fault, or was it this wasn't the $100,000 job? Because when you said, my friends said blah 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 blah, we always have friends that say, don't do it. All that stuff. I had the same thing when I left and got back in full time. Yeah. So you have these, you call them haters.
Right.
So why do you think you didn't make the 100?
You know what? I don't think anyone made 100 at CarMax except the manager.
Okay, cool.
But no, I mean you could make it's a good job. You can make a good living. I think the top sales guy was making like 80 something, a year. But I think the average sales guy there was making like 45 or 50 grand.
So you were there 2 years?
I was there 2 years, yeah.
And then what?
And then I took my tests after about a year and a half working there. I took my tests, and my dad, I don't know how I came across, but there was a girl that was recruiting me. Like she would call me like every day. I was like, oh my God, like. And the office was right across the street from CarMax. So she would tell me like, oh, like come in the office, you could train, and then after that you can go to CarMax. And like she was like on it. I was like, wow. I said, okay. So I told my dad, we interviewed at that office because we're interviewing at a bunch of places because he has a lot of people he knows. So we went to go interview like Coldwell Banker and stuff, and no office seemed to fit. And then this office at Remax and right off the 5 right there by CarMax, we seemed comfortable there, and he took us there. So I was there at Remax for about a year and 6 months, and it was a huge Mike Ferry office, and yeah, so that's where I started, and it was and then I went full time from there.
Got it.
I
quit the CarMax thing.
I quit CarMax. Yeah. I saved up some money, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it a chance, And like you said, a lot of my friends were like, "Oh, you're crazy, dude! Like, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna work." Real estate's kind of like a joke and all this stuff. Whatever they want to say. And then so here we are.
Yeah.
2 years. That was like, what, 2.5 years ago? 3 years?
It's interesting when people say it's not going to work. You know what I mean? So, if you're not scared that it's not going to work, what does it matter, bro? Like, if I do something that doesn't work, I'm closer to the next thing that maybe does work, right?
Right.
So, when I first got in, my parents were like, hey, how long are you going to give this? Like, I would borrow money from family. I was collecting unemployment. It's like, well, are you helping me? Cool. So it's like people are scared to fail. And you think about it, we're scared to fail because of what other people most of the time think about us. The interesting part that I remember about your story, because we've talked about it, is when you were working at one of the country clubs and you changed your mindset, which I think your dad helped you or someone mentioned you. You were the guy, because I've been to country clubs, and you were there, and there's people, and you chat with the members, right? Tell us a little bit about that story, because that was intriguing, because I've been in that same predicament many times throughout my life where you're just going with the flow, and then something just changes your perspective, and then things start to happen.
I was like, when I first started there, a lot of the guys there were pretty unhappy. There was like, my manager was, I think he was like 30 years old, and he like hated like the job, and he would just tell us like, just do the bare minimum, just get by. And then so that was like my mindset. Like, these guys would play golf all day. These wealthy guys would play golf, and wealthy men and women, they would play all day, and then they would come in with these golf carts that are all full of like junk, like they're trash and all this stuff. Then I had to go like take them up to their car and then come down and then clean all their trash. And I'm like, what a joke! Like, these people, like, who wants to do this, you know? And then my dad, my good friend of mine, he got a job working at like some sandwich place, and he was like the manager there, and he's like, dude, I'll get you a job. And this was when I was still in high school. And I was like, all right, bro, like, yeah, like, let's do it. And then I told my dad, I said, yeah, I'm gonna get a job at the sandwich place. And my dad was like, what, are you crazy? Like, you love golf, you like it, like, why would you leave, and not be around that? And I was like, I'm tired of cleaning people's mess, like, it's a joke, And then he was like, well, he says, you have to look at it from the other side, like, you're young, you're coming up. A lot of these guys are, they have, they're wealthy. Like, he's like, you should, try to talk it up with them. Maybe they can offer you a job or open a door for you. You never know. Plus, he's like, you play golf, like, just go, like, play. Use it to go play, because golf is expensive. Like, it was a ton of money. Like, just for a driver, you're looking at like $500. So it's like, it's a lot. So, and I was just a college kid. I couldn't afford that. I could barely afford anything. So I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? I said, let me just stay, So that's when I kind of went into work and, kind of got excited. You kind of have to motivate yourself, you know. And, I would just go the extra mile for people and do whatever I can to help. And that was like my mindset. Like, you know what? Even though it may suck in the, in the perspective of looking at it, but, work hard right now, and it can, work for you later. Yeah. And that was crazy, because I remember I found a watch, at the country club. A member lost the watch, and then I found it, and then he got it back, and I guess it was a very, sacred watch to him. I guess it was in the family for 20 plus years or whatever. And, 3-4 years later, end up listing and selling his house.
No way.
So so that was the kicker. Yeah. Was that
I know.
Open the door there.
Yeah, I know you mentioned where you started to chat with them more about golf instead of just being the guy that they stopped talking to. Like, hey, here's my card, give me a ride, and you know what I mean. You started connecting, right? And that's what people tend to forget. Kind of tying it back into our story now and hustling now. We're young. We're considered young in the industry. Right. At least you are, because I'm getting older. But you start connecting more, and you realize what that can do. And it seemed like that really shifted things. You know what I mean? You started connecting with them, talking to them about golf, and you even started like helping them out and like with some like lessons, right? And you started bugging other people that were supposed to give the lessons. Yeah. And they started gravitating to you, you know what I mean? It's almost like our business now. People are freaking out. What do? I can't do open houses. I'm not supposed to be showing homes. So pivot with the market, change your perspective. Yeah. Right? Were you connecting well enough with your clients like you should have been? Right. Or are you losing the relationship now that, it's harder to get business? Do those people remember you for the relationship you built? Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's interesting how that kind of ties in with our business, because you can do one transaction one after another, but if you don't build a relationship with them, you're not going to get any repeat business. And during downtimes like this,
Right.
You're not going to get any referrals.
Right.
I don't remember who you are. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You're just the guy that cleaned the cart. You're just the guy that closed the transaction and showed him a home.
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So,
yeah, and that's real big right now with what we're trying to do with our business is all of our clients, we really like to keep in contact with them and, send them, little gifts here and there, just anything to say thank you for your business because, just starting out in the business when you first get your license, it's hard.
yeah.
It's very hard. I mean, they always say keep 6 months reserve, and it seems like that 6 months is forever,
Yeah.
to close your first deal. And my first deal that I closed, it was a buyer. And man, it was a nightmare deal. Like, thank God I had my dad with me to like help me because I don't know if I could have did it.
Yeah.
It was like a mess. Like the lady, we closed escrow, and the lady pretty much told us that she's not going to move. And my buyer they were moving out of their condo in like 2 months, and she thought 2 months was plenty of time to move her stuff in, paint, do whatever she had to do. And now she couldn't move in. The lady was kind of crazy, you know. So that was my first transaction. So it's getting up to that point, it was a lot of work too. You got to put in a lot of time and effort into it.
Yeah.
It's not just gonna happen
For
like
sure.
some of these agents think.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of agents that actually got their license too when I got it, and like they haven't really done a whole lot. And it's not because they're bad or anything, but there's like in this industry, like if you don't do what it takes, then you're not like it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Nothing's gonna happen actually.
Yeah.
If you do nothing, then nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah, what I admire most about you guys is your guys' the way you work, the hustle, and like you guys are open to trying different things.
Yeah.
Right? Whether it's diving straight into the website you created and the ads that you're doing,
Yeah.
Or whether it's the way you market a house and get 200 people to a listing. Like you guys are doing things that you're not scared to fail. Because if you fail, cool, we're going to figure something else out, right? We're going to try something else.
Right.
So that's what I admire most about you and your dad's team, where you can see your grind, you can see your hustle. Even though your dad still is part-time, you guys hustle, man. And you guys do some good things out there in the market that some people are getting upset with, but at the end of the day, your client's the seller. And if you have a buyer, your client's the buyer. So you do right by your clients. And I see you guys really do that. So congrats to that, man.
Yeah. No, same to you guys.
Thank you.
That's why we work with you guys, and we feel too that there's a connection there because there's a lot of people that do what you do loans, and they're kind of on the older side, and they just expect everything to be like it used to be, and they're not willing to go out of their box to do things to make things happen. Because now we know that like 95, 99% of the business is like online. All the buyers are online. The clients are looking online. They won't even talk to you if they like look you up and they see like your reviews and stuff and all this stuff. So a lot of it's going there. So if you're not going there, then you're kind of phasing out.
Yeah.
So.
Well, cool, man.
Well,
Appreciate
Chris,
the chat today.
Yeah, thank you. This is our second podcast, so we look forward to bringing more content to you guys, and we'll see you on the next one.